What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a new video. And this is a video I put off for a while because I just took a break from Rust, but as I'm coming back into it, I figured I would add the video. Before we start the video, I just want to say I'd really appreciate if you like and subscribe if this is helpful. So this is a power guide. Now I have pretty much everything that you're going to use. This is pretty much everything that I've used so far. There are some other things, but they're not, I don't know, they're not as common. You probably won't even use them yourself. So I'm just gonna go ahead and explain some of these uses and how to hook them up. And so starting off, you have your power source, so your windmill. If you have it anywhere from 1 to 3 tall, it's gonna generate the same. But every height you make it over, so like 4, 5, 6, 7, this will actually generate more power. So I suggest if you plan on doing auto turrets, at the minimum have it 5, and at least I'd say have it at least from 5 to 7 tall. That's my suggestion. You can put it higher. Some people do put it higher because sometimes they'll try to attach lights to them or whatever. But what I like to do is I like to put them around 7 tall, and I'll attach a windmill, not windmill, a solar panel to them. So if you want to know how to do that, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna need your windmill, and you're gonna need these. Well, these are root combiners, so they combine things. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go into your power out slot on your windmill, and it doesn't matter what slot you put it in. You're just gonna put it in one of these two. Then you're gonna come over to your solar panel, and you're just gonna I'm just making it look somewhat neat. It's not like too neat, but I'm at least having it be on the ground so it's not floating around. So now once both of these are plugged into here, what you're gonna do is you're going to come over here and you're gonna plug this into your battery. And right here in your battery, this is now it's all going into here. As you can see, it's going up 204, 205, and it's going up slow because this isn't up very high. Another thing, after that, there's two steps. There's the beginner phase and the more advanced phase. So for the beginner phase, it's really not that hard. You just need 4 splitters and a switch. You don't need a switch. I suggest putting a switch, because when you put a switch, you can turn things on and off. Like for example, turrets, if your teammates didn't get them, versus having to unplug and get the wire tool back out, and it saves time. And anything that requires authorization, like turrets and stuff, they do need TC access. Just like if you're configuring things like this, configuring this, you need TC access. So random people who don't have TC can't just come up and steal them. So that's the good news. Alright, so now that we have this is the beginner phase. So what you're going to do is you have your switch. Now, your switch is going to go into your first splitter. And then your power 1 is going to go into splitter number 2. This power in, like this. So, what you're going to do is, once again, you plug the power output, and you put it in the switch right here at the bottom, in the electric input. Then you go to the output and you put it right here in the power in. You take this power out, put it in the first switch, this power out in the second switch, and this power out in the third switch. Now anything that I plug into this will have power once you flick this. So for example, if you were to flick this lever and I plug this into my light, this flashing light, it will be on, but it's kind of annoying. But if you turn it off, it turns off. And if you want to get rid of it, you just come up to it, and depending on whatever console you're on, your PC, Xbox, or PlayStation, whatever button you use to aim, that is going to be the button to get rid of it, unless you change your keybinds or something. So for example, on PlayStation, it's L2. And that's how you do stuff. And then how you hook stuff up is you just run up, and it'll be R2, and it does this little connect thing. Another thing, if you want to change your colors, for PlayStation, it's R1. Okay, so not your trigger, but like your right button. Okay, so I think I don't know what button that would be on Xbox, RB or something. I don't know, but yeah, whatever this is, you can change the color of whatever you want. So now when I go ahead and do this, it'll be blue. Alright, the next thing we're going to talk about, we're just going to leave it as this. And if you're wondering why this is worse, this is a easier way of setting things up, but it takes more power to do so. So in order to like have more turrets or whatever, it uses up excess power. So using this way, it's a little more harder, maybe time consuming. It's not really necessarily harder, but it is for if you haven't really done it before, because it can be confusing. Um, you're able to get more power usage from this than you are from this, and you're even to get even more if you don't use the switch. But using the switch is also way more helpful going on, so you don't have to add a switch. All you'd have to do to turn it off is go over to your power out and just unplug it. And then once you're ready, you could always just go back in there, and instead of having it in the switch and like having the switch here, you would just have this power in go into there, and you just unplug it whenever you want the power to stop. Or for example, if I want the power in this one to stop, I just unplug this one. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is the pass-throughs. So most objects like this have pass-throughs. So like for example, your lights, if you don't know what they are, but they have pass-throughs. So if I have it plugged into one, I can come over here and plug into another. But there's a limit depending on what item you're using because of how much power they draw. So for example, if I'm able to get like five of these lights, I wouldn't be able to do 5 pass-throughs through here. See, you would be able to do the pass-through, but it just won't turn on. Okay, so you're able to do pass-throughs through here, but no, it does draw more power. So for example, let's say you're gonna have 100 power max to use. Turrets take up 10. So if you use this method, and instead of having the switch, you have this, you could have 10 turrets on one wind turbine. But for example, if I wanted to get rid of a turret and I wanted to add lights, the lights take up about 1 each. Okay. So if I wanted to have all these turrets, but I tried to hook up 11 lights, it wouldn't work because you're drawing too much power. Same thing like with this. These, it takes down, you're only going to get 9 turrets out of this. So if I try to add 8 turrets and I try to add a bunch of these or something else, or like do these pass-throughs, it's not going to work, and you're going to end up not having enough electricity, and it can shut down other things. Okay, so pretty much every form of these lights have a pass-through, and these are all cheap. Most of these are only going to cost about 1 power, but pretty much all these lights have pass-throughs, as you can see here. Same thing with these, and depending on what your usage for these are, maybe you're building an arena and a custom server. Maybe you're trying to make your base look intimidating. Maybe you're hooking them up with a heartbeat sensor, flash, maybe with a siren, for it to go loud, for it to be loud. I don't know, make it more dramatic. I've used all 3 of these lights, and the most useful one is this one for nighttime. The next thing I want to talk about are these elevators. For anybody who wants to set up an elevator. So what you're originally gonna need to do is you're gonna need 1 power for this, and wherever the top of your elevator is, there's going to be a little electricity box. I don't know what side it's on. I haven't used this in a minute. Where's it at? Sometimes it can be sometimes if you're like looking at it weird, the bubbles won't show up, but there is a little power box if I can find it. Oh, it's right here. So it's gonna be on one of these, so bear with me. It's right here on this one, so it's on the bottom. It just wasn't showing up, I don't know why. Anyway, now that you have that, your elevator is going to work, but it's not gonna work very well. So for example, if I want to come over here, it's not actually letting me mess with it. You might be, why is it not letting me mess with it? It's because you haven't configured any of the other things going with it. And plus, this has no power. So, once you have power plugged into it, the only thing you're able to do is move it up and down. So I can see, this is already at its top because I only put 2, so you can't raise it anymore. But you can lower it. So when you come over here, and you have to look at another misconception is, what I see people doing is they'll come over here to like the elevator, for example, and it actually matters. Like if you're trying to lower it, you have to look at the lower one, you have to look at the right, and if you're trying to raise it, you have to look at the higher one. Some people will just look at the switch thinking both of them are going to show up, and it doesn't, and then it'll be like the elevator's glitched, but it's not. So when you click this, you're actually able to lower it to the floor. Now if you want to if you want to have call buttons, if you're gonna have multiple floors of elevator, you can be like, well, how am I gonna get it there? It's a very good question. You're going to want to come in here, and it's gonna take them another usage of another power slot, just so you know. And you're going to plug it into your electric input, and you're going to take this output, and you're going to want to plug it into the call elevator for this floor. Now, up here, you're going to want to do the exact same thing. You're going to take your input over here and plug it in. You can do it either way. Just know that it's the input that has to be plugged in. And then you're going to come over here to your output, and you're going to put it on the call elevator. So if you're already on this floor, it's not going to move because it's already on that floor. But if you come down here and then you call it, it's going to come down to that floor. And if you're up here and you call it, it's going to come up to that floor. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about are just some of these items. Some of these other items that you're not going to use as much, but I'll show you how to use these. So we're just going to disconnect the elevator. Okay. So starting off, some of these items, it might seem like useless, but for example, this one, it electrifies you and you do damage and you can die. Right? So most of the time this is gonna be useful, but for the most part, when you hop into like an actual server or something, sometimes if you have extra power and you're like, okay, man, let's say you're doing this and used up 8 of the slots and you still have 1 more slot and you're like, I don't know what I want to do. Well, you can get another switch by itself and you can like go and hook it up, and you can move this over here with this switch, right? And you can plug this into your little Tesla coil, and you can put it in an airlock, right? Let's say you trap someone in your front airlock. You can turn this on and sort of use it as a trap to kill them. The only downside is these cost metal. You have to use scrap and stuff to research them, and you're probably not going to use them that much. But and they are kind of easy to break. But for some people who aren't the smartest, you can easily break them. So turn this on, it would electrocute, but I unplugged it. Another thing that people don't seem to use as much tends to be these, and they're siren rides, because they're really annoying. There's multiple ways that you could use these for. You can use them to grief enemies and such, but one of the ways that I like to use them are this. So for example, over here we have our heartbeat sensor, and you probably haven't noticed it yet. You can put your heartbeat sensor on the floor, on the roof, wherever you want it, and see, right now it's detecting me because you can hear that little sound. They always kind of make this sound. But for example, I can plug it into here, and then I can come over here and I can plug it into this alarm. So whenever it hears me, the alarm goes off. So you could have it as a front door alarm. You could put it like secretly in a bush somewhere over there. People don't notice if they get close. And it doesn't just have to be this. For example, if you don't want an alarm, and you're like, maybe you've played on a hip-hop server before, and you might have wondered, man, how come a garage door opened up and I died to a turret? All you would have to do is come and take this output and put it into one of your door switches. It's called a door controller. And then you have to unlock your door, and then you pair the door. And once that light's green, it means it's paired to the door. So the closest door to this is what it's paired to. Then you're going to want to relock it. And then when I come over here and it triggers me, it will open the door. So that's one way. That's how you can also do it for a trap base, if you put it in an airlock or something. But do note that no matter what, they make this little buzzing sound, so people who know what these are, they're going to be cautious. So like, if you're building a trap base, you might want to use something quieter, like a pressure plate pad. For example, if I unplug this over here, there's 2 ways you can do it. So for your doors. So for one, I can plug it into this like I did earlier, and you can come over here. This one's already paired, and whenever you come over here, you want to flick the switch, it opens the door for you. I don't know what you want to use it for. There's multiple uses. Maybe a role player. It doesn't really matter. Maybe you want to let somebody in your airlock. Maybe, I don't know, but without maybe the risk of them you dying. I don't know. But that's how you can add the switch, whatever your use for that would be. For these trap bases, these can get a little confusing sometimes. So you're going to want to take your power output. It doesn't really matter what one. If you notice, you all get the same amount of power. I'm not really too worried about it. I just keep using random ones. If you want to make it more organized, I'd start from the left, go to the right. You can do whatever. My wiring also isn't going to be the best. We want to come over here and plug in this pressure plate pad. Now, yet again, if you try to hit square, it's not going to pair to the door. You have to unlock the door, pair it, and then relock it. Now, whenever I want, I can come over here, and I can just plug it in. So, you step on the pressure plate and it opens. This is another way you can make trap bases. Door controllers are also another item that have pass-throughs. So you could add it over here to this one. So you step on it, both doors open, but there's gonna be a little delayed reaction. You could also, for example, if it's a trap base, you want to know that they got caught. You can come over here, plug it into this. They step on this. Next thing you know, there's an alarm going off. Maybe it's attached to a Tesla coil. I don't really know. But yeah. These next things over here that I want to show you really quick for doing raid bases, you're going to need low grade. And these are your generators. So pretty much all you have to do, these are really simple. You come over here and you insert your low grade right here. Then you want to go to your power in slot on your auto turret, and you're just going to plug it in. There's going to be, on this side, there's going to be some notches, and it's going to be power out, and it's right there. And these are just some other things if you're hooking up the other stuff. You're not going to use that. Most of the time, you're going to need one of these per turret in a raid base, unless you want to bring ahead this, some of this stuff. But this isn't as good as an actual battery. So, if you end up using this, you're not going to be able to get 9 turrets off of it. You might be able to get like maybe 3 one splitter. I haven't really tried it because it's not really that good, and it's going to drain a lot of your low grade, which can be really bad. So whenever you want, you're going to turn it on and your auto turret will turn on. You want to turn it off, you turn it off. So that's what most people do for raid bases nowadays. For your other house necessity needs, we're going to go ahead and, well, since we're not going to be using that no more, I'm just going to unplug this stuff over here. And I'm gonna show you what the rest of the stuff does. So this stuff over here, this is your power in. Okay, this is your power in. They do have a pass through, so you can plug into another one. But I would only hook up maybe 2 heaters per slot, maybe 3 at the most. And you're only gonna really need those if you're in the like cold area. And you don't need to use them. It's just if you want to have them, maybe it'll help you get rid of wetness if you stepped in water in the snow or something. Another thing is, for the most part, everything that you're gonna use, it's gonna be super simple. Just plug in. You can come back on this side. You can adjust them, put them wherever you aim them, wherever you would like this, aim them at. It really don't matter. If you want to use these cameras, you have to plug in each camera. Each camera is going to take its own slot. There is no pass-through. That's the only bad thing. So I'm going to teach you how to use these cameras. You come over here and you're going to set an ID. For the sake of this video, I'm going to have this one be 1. I'm going to have this one be 2. And I'm going to have this one be 3. And as long as these have power, you'll be able to come over here into your little camera station, and you're going to click Add View, and you're just going to click 1. And then you can click 2, and you're gonna click 3. Now all of your cameras are hooked up. You can, if other people know the name of your things, they can get into them. So I'd make it something that's not easy to guess, because if you put these in your house and somebody guesses them, then they can see them as well. But yep, these are all the different little views you can see right here. It's slightly moving, not much, but yep, that's all the cameras. If you ever want, you can come back here anytime and change the name. You just have to fix it up there. This is also how you do the oil rig codes. Now, the part that you've probably been here waiting for. So we've talked about all these gadgets. All these gadgets you can do the exact same way that you've seen me do with this side. Plugging them in, it's the same. Okay? But this way it's more time consuming. So for example, we'll just change the color of this so stuff doesn't get confused. We'll change it to red. So your power out, it's gonna come over here, and for the sake of this video, I'm going to put it in the switch, right? Then you're gonna take your output and you're gonna come over here and you're gonna put it into the power in. Now here's where it gets tricky. There's a power out and there's a branch out. You're gonna want to take your power out, power in, power out, power in, power out to the power in of the next one. You don't want to use your branch out. And you're gonna be like, well, if your power's going out, then how you plug anything in? That's gonna be a very important question. Your branch out is what is actually able to connect into things. So for example, if I want this auto turret, you come over here and it's going to start at 2. There's going to be 2 power. But an auto turret takes 10, so you're going to come over here and you're going to type in 10 power. Now, no matter what, the most power that will be used from this is 10. So when I turn it on, I already went through beforehand and all these are already at 10. Okay, that's so this is going to be used 90 power. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your branch out, you're going to come over here, and you're just going to plug into the turret. And it's going to work. Because each turret requires 10. Now, you can use that for anything that you want. But, let's say you don't want this, right? Let's say you don't want that right here. You will be able to come over here, and you can just plug it in to your power in right here. Now, the only issue that you might have is there's no button to turn it off. But on the good side, you're using less power, and then we have 9 slots. So, with that being said, we have 9 turrets. We're just gonna go ahead and we're just gonna put all these down. If this video helped, I'd appreciate if you like and subscribe and send this to a friend.